Hey guys, welcome back to Foxes Abroad. Sorry it's been a while, but I've been up to things and just bringing in for a little update, and I'll show you what we got. Well, Coupe is back on the ground. We're ready for the UK. Anyway, we got to get it MOT'd this week, so that's basically the annual inspection required. So I don't see any problems it's gonna have. It's barely done any miles since last year, so as long as we get there and back safe, should be good to go. So I'll get that scheduled for this week. Next time you see it, she should be on the road and doing well. So, other things is, if it looks a little different, I got some new camera gear, so I'm really testing it out, and I'm hoping that I'm not overdriving the audio with some of this stuff going on. But we'll see how it's going, and let me know what you think if it's anything different. And I just hope my sound isn't clipping out. So we'll see, because I just got sick and tired of the GoPro and the software glitchiness. Trying to edit videos and make videos, it was just pain. So we'll see if this new gear lives up to the hype anyway, and see what we got here. Got another T5 to go through. Most of it's just been blown apart. I already have some parts on order. There's the main shaft and things, but yeah, guy sent this to me. I guess he wanted to see what I can do with it, getting it back to working order. His major complaint was he bought it as rebuilt, or fully rebuilt anyway, only partially, after I got inside of it. So what I found was this case is from an 86. Tail shaft is later SN95-ish. You can tell because it's got the little rubber ball thing here. And it doesn't have any little date codes on it. If you look at the earlier transmissions, you can see little stars like this, and 86 is cast in there. So this is 86, this is SN95. The lid is the same rounded one, so that's SN95-esque. And you can tell it probably had a third gear or something go boom in it. We have a new counter shaft, a new input bearing retainer, had a new speedometer gear in it. There was a new 5th reverse synchro hub in it, and not a lot else. There was some of the crappy carbon fiber synchro rings that somebody put just on the 3rd and 4th gear. You can see the weave. These are the Chinese ones, and they really suck. So his complaint was, as soon as he got it into 3rd gear, there was a very loud gear whine. So I'm glad he told me that, because I went in looking, and where is it? This is the original gear that came out of the transmission. I would say it's the original gear of the transmission, but the gear that came out of it. And I did have a spare. So in my stash of stuff, this is the one. This is my spare. So 85 to 89 is what this gear cluster is. You can tell this is a re-popped gear cluster. I don't know if you can see the text words there. Ends in 052, so you can look up that number for these counter shafts, and it'll tell you what the spec is. But this is the gear, the 3rd gear, that came with it. So as it lines up in the transmission and the gearbox, this is for 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st gears. This is reverse. This is 3rd gear, so 3rd gear would go here. And you put it on there, and it's got, I don't know if you can see, side play. And it rocks a little bit. So, and plus this gear looks like it had been in another transmission, because it's another used gear, and it's got like rust pitting all over where the synchros go. So what usually happens is, when stuff blows up and you get the main shaft here, this main shaft also has rust pitting on it, and it doesn't match the patina of the rest of the parts inside the transmission. So I think either they blew up a gear, or it had the end of the main shaft go bad, which I'm pretty much thinking, and when the main shaft goes bad, this starts to float and sag, and it wears some of the gears out. So if the patina from the rust pitting on this gear came from the transmission with this rust pitted shaft, who knows how this gear was bed into the old counter shaft from it. But it doesn't, it's worn so badly that it doesn't, mesh up very nicely at all to this new counter shaft. But you get my my old spare gear here, and you set it on, and it kind of like locks in there. It doesn't spin, it doesn't rock. I'm rocking it there a little bit, but it's kind of locked in. I mean, I can't twist it. There's no play. You go back to this one. Yeah, you can wiggle it around. Kind of hear a noise. So we're going to use my replacement gear, trash this one because it's obviously worn, even though you really can't see it, but you can definitely feel it. And you really know this one is a good gear when you compare it to other things like the second gear. It'll go here, and that'll lock in, and it's got a real positive feel about it. So, but yeah, this second gear, all these clutching teeth are smoked. So we're going to get ourselves a second gear, replacement third gear. You can tell that this is the clutch cone or hub that went on the end of the shaft for third gear and fourth gear. And another evidence of the old main shaft probably got worn out really bad, because you can see all the hammer marks and stuff like that from the steel going bad. And they didn't really replace it. They didn't even really clean it up, because this gets a shim set right on top of it. But I would have liked to see, at least they trued it up. There's still like metal impregnated in the surface, and it's very irregular. So I'm probably going to get a piece of sandpaper on some glass and kind of hone this down so this will fit that nice and true again. You can see there's like a score mark going around this washer because it was set on that rough surface and been spinning a little bit where the Torrington bearing sits. So yeah, just lots of going through it, because it's just a pile of parts that somebody just smashed back together, and that's what I got to fix back up and make it a good unit for the guy. But just waiting on parts for that. John's engine's still here. I cleaned up his pistons and everything the other day when Pete was over here on Wednesday. We didn't get any video because we were just hanging out pretty much, but getting ready to start putting the crank and everything back in the man of war block. John's moving, so he's not going to be up to a whole lot lately, and that's pretty much it. Pretty weak update video, but that's what's going on, and I'm just glad the car's ready to hit the road. Oh, I got one more thing. Let me bring you in and show you what I was alluding to in the last video about the secret squirrel stuff. See how this thing does in low light. But, one thing I like about this, I got a working map light. So, all right. Yeah, the pictures that I showed you were of this shift knob last time, and go around the side, the front here, and you can see there's two little buttons. So what I did is I modified a shift knob and stuck these little hidden buttons in it. So this one is going to be for my my two-step, and this one here is going to be for the line lock brake. So, I like race car-y stuff, but I don't want it to look like a race car. I want it to look like a street car, but a lot of stuff's hidden. So what's going on is I had a two-step wired into the Terminator X to my clutch pedal switch. So when you had the foot to the floor on the starting line, you floor it, your RPMs go to whatever you're setting at, and then you launch, and as soon as you take your foot off the clutch pedal, it would revert back to the regular 6,000 RPM rev limiter. The only thing bad about it on the clutch pedal by itself is every time you shift, if you go all the way to, to make a good shift, and I'm not one of those guys that just kisses it and bangs gears. I'm not, being abusive or anything like that. But you shift and they're out of the exhaust, there would be a little pop backfire. So what I did is I doubled up the redundancy or the path of things that need to happen for the two-step to kick in. So when the clutch is in and this button is pushed, then the two-step is active. And then I launch, and theoretically, when I'm going down the track, I'm not going to be mashing this button at the same time that the clutch is being shifted. So I won't be, hopefully, popping and banging every time I shift out of the tailpipe and through the exhaust. So that's why I did that. I know there's some guys that they do latching relays so it doesn't happen when you're going down the track. A lot of guys don't care because they're running automatics and they don't have this happen. So I'm seeing what happens. And I don't have the line lock button set up yet because I'm going to do that through a warning light through here, the old warning cluster, because I do have my shift light as the one light here in the dash. The Terminator turns that on the shift light, but when this is active, there's going to be another warning light, probably for the brake or something like that is what I'd like to do. And then that's when the race brakes and new A-arms get put on sometime later on in the year. And when I'm not at the track, if you go underneath here, there's a switch. I can disable the line lock and the two-step. So for regular street driving, I don't need to worry about anything. I don't even know if you can see it with the light conditions the way it is, but yep, there's on and there's off. So, but that's the sneaky stuff for the car. Well, we'll see how this camera in the video does. But that's all I'm going to do for now in case it sucks. I'm not going to do a whole lot more. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. End of the light here. I'll catch you guys soon in another video.